in the feature match area. It's Daniel Duffee on your left, Dan Musser on your right. Battle of 2 9-0s. You do see Musser's hand is fanned out. He's only got 5 cards to kick off the morning. He did scry to the top, however, so we'll see if he can overcome this double mulligan. And Aether Vial is where we will start here in round number 10 of Syracuse. For Musser, he has an Urza's Power Plant. That Vial will take up to 1 there for Duffee. You mentioned how it's important for him to get to the board early if he can. A second island and a Master of the Pearl Trident. This is the ideal start?
Yeah, this is the start that we wanted to see out of him. It looks like he's got a Curse Catcher, and the Aether Vial is obviously going to keep ticking up and ramp him into those free lords.
For Musser, he's got a Tower of Power. He's just missing 1 Tron piece now in Urza's Mine. This is a Curse Catcher, which will be a 2/2 thanks to the Master. Vial will tick up to 2 as we head over to Duffee for his 3rd turn. He has a Spreading Seas on the tower. This might be the best start he could have.
Yeah, this is super strong for him. Pressure on the board, a little bit of disruption, more lords in the hand. Pretty ideal.
A Vial activation will put another Master of the Pearl Trident on the battlefield. Now this will be an attack here for 6 for Duffee. And he has another Curse Catcher. Jeez. He's got 12 power on the battlefield here on the 3rd turn of the game. Musser will draw a card, but he can't even Tron up this turn.
No, yeah, we're going to game 2.
Yeah, Mattery Shaper doesn't even get to block. I don't know how he gets himself out of this situation. Heck, even Walking Bliss is not even good right now. I don't know what's good for him right now.
No, he needed to start with a Dismember on the first lord, but we're past that point now.
A Ghost Quarter is the land here. So he's going to tap this for a blue mana. Ghost Quarter is Urza's Tower, which means he'll get to search for a waste. And now with the mana floating, he taps these 2. He's going to play a copy of Mattery Shaper, which means that there is no Island Walk, and he'll get the opportunity to block here, he hopes.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. Duffee will untap. He's going to leave his Vial on 2. Silvergill Adept, and it looks like Lord of Atlantis in hand.
Yeah, even blocking here. He's going to take a pile of damage.
There is Silvergill Adept. Trigger, draw a card. And we remember he does have a copy of Lord of Atlantis in hand. Duffee will very quickly cut Musser's deck. Maybe didn't even need to do that, as he's going to come in here with all these creatures. Musser's going to jump in front of the Lord. Trigger, Dismember. That's not looking great at 2 life. Musser will draw a card. And are we all set here, Dan the Man? We are all set. Daniel Duffee going to win game number 1 here over Dan Musser. Merfolk very quickly up a game over Eldrazi. That was the recipe.
Yeah, it just exploded onto the board. I mean, he had all the pieces that he would want that game. 3 lords, bunch of 1-drops to go with his Aether Vial. He had the Spreading Seas. Kill his opponent right away.
Yeah, I don't know if it gets much better than that there for Duffee, but he does have some sideboard cards to bring in. We'll get to his sideboard in a moment, but for now, since Musser will be on the play, we will begin things with him and his 3 Relic of Progenitus, 2 Surgical Extraction, 2 Graph Trigger's Cage, 2 Ratchet Bomb, 2 Warping Whale, 2 Hangerback Walker, a Pithing Needle, and a Basilisk Collar. What do you like over there, Craig?
There's not a whole lot for Dan going on here. The Ratchet Bombs look quite good. You only need to go up to 2, and they're going to blow up a lot of relevant cards. It's very possible he also brings in this Basilisk Collar to try to shoot up his Walking Ballistas and have just a better machine gun going on. And the life gain can be very relevant in this matchup. Just putting a Basilisk Collar on a 4/4 or a 5/5 gives him the ability to race these Merfolk.
For the other side of things here for Duffee, who very quickly won that first game and is already shuffling up, it looks like here for game number 2. 3 Relic Progenitus, 3 Ceremonious Rejection, 2 Hurkyl's Recall, 2 Dispel, 2 Negate, 2 Unified Will, and Echoing Truth. There's a very obvious one there in the rejection.
Yes, his Ceremonious Rejection is just so strong in this matchup. Having to only spend 1 mana when your opponent's playing 4 or 5 or maybe even 7 mana for a powerful spell is right where you want to be. He also might have some interest in these Unified Wills. He's almost always going to have more creatures on the board than his opponent, and just having those extra counter spells against those very powerful spells coming from the other side is, you know, pretty enticing.
Well, those are the options there for both players. Musser will be on the play, Duffee on the draw, while these 2 players do shuffle up here for game number 2. We'll talk about that StarCityGames.com weekly sale here for you. Up to 33% off a wholesale lots. Go to StarCityGames.com/weekly sales where you can find more information about that. And if you're new around these parts, the sale does end tomorrow at 10:59 a.m. East Coast time, but we'll have a new sale up for you at 11 a.m. East Coast time. Go to StarCityGames.com/weekly sale for more information as we get ready here for game number two between Dan Musser and Daniel Duffee. These are your two 9-0s here in Syracuse. We had 900 players strong in our main event. We did sell this bad boy out, so thanks to all the players who did come out to the heart of New York here for our Modern Open. But these two players sit atop the standings right now, and Dan Musser in first place with Eldrazi Tron, Daniel Duffee in second place with Merfolk. Right now, things are leaning towards Duffee, however, with a pretty easy first game, and maybe this is just a good matchup for the Fishies. Who knows?
Yeah, might line up really well. We mentioned the main deck spreading seas several times. It's just such a good card in this matchup, and the Merfolk get onto the board very quick.
Yeah, if he has a draw like that with a Vial, Lords, that's the recipe, and then one or two pieces of disruption.
Sure.
You know, you don't want to draw many copies of Vial, redundant copies of Vial, not exactly what you're looking for in this matchup because they're not really going to get countered or blown up or anything like that. So we'll see what Musser's able to find here in game number 2 as he takes a look at his opening hand. Do keep in mind that Musser was on a mulligan of 5 last game as well, so might have a bit of a difference here if he's able to start with 7 cards.
We would hope so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, he's going to go down to 6.
Trying to do it the hard way.
I guess so. Likes to challenge himself a little bit early this morning. So as he takes a look at 6 cards, we do want to discuss our good friend, our playful pup in Puggernot, because this has been made available here in Playmat sleeves and player bundles. I think everybody at this point knows what we do with our StarCityGames.com creature collection. Obviously available through game night, but if you'd like to get some Playmat sleeves and player bundles of our playful pup that won't be walled off, go to StarCityGames.com/creature collection. This is available now in game night for the month of August, but again, you can buy Playmat sleeves and player bundles over at go.StarCityGames.com/creature collection. Next month, Smell Snare. Yeah, buddy.
Yeah, buddy.
I'm buying them out. I'm going to spec on. Can you spec on sleeves? Is that a thing you can do?
Probably. You'd be surprised, you know, there's a lot of Magic players out there.
That's true.
And when they want something, they get something.
We're underway here in game number 2. For Dan Musser, he started things off with an Urzatron piece. For Daniel Duffee, it's a Manamo, School at Water's Edge.
Also known as Island.
Yes, yes. Mostly known as Island, but sometimes known as Manamo, along with an Ether Vial. A Seagate Wreckage into an Expedition map is what Musser's second turn will be. Vial's going to tick up to 1. We go back over to Daniel Duffee for his second turn of the game.
And we see Dan just getting a little bit unlucky here, drawing that map on turn 2.
Yeah. Runs so bad. A Master of the Pearl Trident there for Duffee. Means he's onto the board early again. This is a Thought-Knot Seer, thanks to an Eldrazi Temple. Take a look at this hand. Harbinger of the Tides, a Dismember.
Ooh, this is a good hand.
A Lord of Atlantis, a Master of the Pearl Trident, and it looks like a Spreading Seas as well.
Yes.
That's a good hand.
Yeah, he's got all the pieces here. It's tough not to take the Dismember here, but with all of these Lords, these Merfolk are quickly going to outclass this Eldrazi, which is pretty absurd to say.
Yeah. I like to call Merfolk the Pack Rat deck.
Yeah.
Because that's what it feels like all the time. It's just these creatures all boost these other creatures, much like Pack Rat boosts other Pack Rats. They work together in tandem. And you can get a little bit of a look at Musser's hand there, where he's got an Urza's Tower. Looks like he has a Ghost Quarter and a Reality Smasher. So his hand's got some big creatures, and he'll be able to do some blocking, but at the same time, he's got to take this Dismember.
Well, you say he'll be able to do some blocking. With the Spreading Seas,
it's going to be more difficult.
It's going to be, yeah, we might see him have to Ghost Quarter his own land again.
Mm-hmm. 2 mana. Spreading Seas on the way, I'm sure. Eldrazi Temple down. Looks like another Lord picked up here by Duffee.
Yes.
There's an Island. Activate. Play a Lord. In for 3 unblockable damage. Musser going to fall down to 17. Time to untap here for Dan. He'll draw. He's got Ghost Quarter in hand already. Curious to see if he wants to go that route. Reality Smasher is not an option at this stage.
Well, Ghost Quartering his land opens him up to blocking. But if Daniel deploys 2 Lords next turn, all these Merfolk are too big. He doesn't even want to tangle with them in combat.
Yeah. His draw step for the turn was Nurse's Tower. The other thing, too, is racing is certainly off the table, too, because of the Harbinger of the Tides. So here's, okay, he picked up a copy of Thought-Knots here, so pardon me. Lord Harbinger.
This is not a good spot to be in.
Not good at all. I think you have to take a Lord.
I agree. I think you do have to take a Lord, but staring into the teeth of that Harbinger all game is not a place you want to be either.
Nope. Yeah, it is kind of interesting because at the same time, you almost want to take the Harbinger and see if you can race. But I don't know if that's a race you can win. Yeah, so he's going to take a Lord. I think the hope here for Dan is that he's able to maybe pick up a copy of Dismember at some point along the way. Ooh. Oh, really? Are we thinking attacking? He's not blocking. He can't block.
Nope, and he's going to have to deal with that Harbinger at some point anyway.
Yeah. I could see a reason to attack here.
It's tough.
Yeah. All right, he's just going to hang steady. Vile's going to stay on 2. Island the draw. Dan's going to need Duffee to draw quite a few more of those in order to get back into this game. For now, Duffee is going to play Lord of Atlantis. He'll attack here for 8. Musser's going to fall down to 9.
Jeez. Dan does have some big draw steps here.
What's maybe the best of the bunch?
All his dust is spectacular.
A little ways away from it, though.
He can fetch up the Tron.
Oh, okay, good point. Yeah. He's got tower in mind, so you just have to fetch up a power plant here. Yeah, all his dust would be great.
Karn would take out one of these Merfolk and potentially distract his opponent for a turn.
Okay. He has Reality Smasher in hand, but again, that's no good with all the island walk that's going on here. I think he picked up another copy of Reality Smasher.
Yeah, and what's tough for him here, he's got a Ghost Quarter his own land, which means he's not completing Tron this turn.
Yep. But he can't complete it next turn. Here comes Harbinger. Okay. So if Duffee finds another Lord, he's in great shape.
Oh, yeah.
I think that may have just been another Vile. Now, the bad thing here for Dan, for the record, is, you know, with the blocking that he needs to do, these Thought-Knots here are going to trade, which means Duffee's going to get to draw some cards.
Yep.
So Dan's going to float Ghost Quarter. He's got a colorless mana floating. He's going to go get himself a waste, I'm sure. Now he'll crack this. Going to find the last Tron piece that he's missing.
I like the double check, make sure I'm getting the right one.
Very smart, yes. Get yourself a power plant. Some blocking here. Block, and I think he wants to actually block 2 Master of the Pearl Tridents.
Okay.
And the reason for that is because Lord of Atlantis gives other Merfolk Island Walk. Interesting. Wants to block a Harbinger of the Tides. Those will both die. There will be 2 triggers. So he's going to end up taking 8 and go to 1. Boy, he needs the Dustbuster, folks. There's an island. Here's a Vile.
Well, and with the Vile being able to put in a creature, even a Sweeper is not a clean solution here.
Well, Sweeper, so, oh yeah, you're right, because the Vile that'll just be there. Yeah.
Yep.
And he's got a Silvergill Adept in hand, so I think Musser might be on a no-outer unless he's got a big Ballista. There's Reality Smasher. Pass the turn back. All right, an activation. Here comes Silvergill Adept. There'll be a trigger, draw a card. That's a Dismember. Use that, discard the card. Daniel Duffee's making this look pretty easy today. There's an extension of the hand from Dan Musser. Daniel Duffee going to win this match here over Dan Musser. 2-0. Merfolk dispatches Eldrazi Tron pretty easily there. And for Daniel Duffee, you've got your lone undefeated player here in Syracuse.
Yeah, those Merfolk were savage.
Those are 2 very good draws in this matchup here from Daniel Duffee.
They really were. Those were exceptional draws. That's worth noting. But also, I mean, that's what the deck